All right, this lesson's all about crafting your book outline. So we're going to talk about what is a proper book outline, why it matters, show you the 3 different structures for a nonfiction book. So these are the 3 different layouts, essentially, that you can have your book created in. What makes a killer introduction, and we're going to follow it up with how to draw a proper conclusion for your readers as well. Now, your outline sets the expectations for the writers, and it makes their job as easy as possible. I want you to think about what we're doing. We research a topic, how to sleep train your baby, gardening, whatever the topic. We don't want the writer going in with a blank slate and figuring out, okay, well, here's what I want to talk about. I want to design a book on this. We want to do all of the research, find out what customers are looking for, what they like and what they don't like about other books, what type of information are they desperately needing. And we want to put this into an outline and give it to the writer and say, I want you to write a book exactly about this. When this happens, they do better work and you get a better book, which in turn makes you more money. Setting your standards for your book starts with setting the standards for your outline. This is one of the reasons it is one of the most important lessons in this entire program, because a great book will start with a great outline. Now, this is a very important part of the process, and it also helps eliminate the need for revisions. When I started taking more time with my outlines, I started needing less and less revisions and edits on my book. Now, 3 types of structures for your book. One is called the sequential framework, numerical framework, and then the problem solution framework. These are going to change based on your audience and the type of book that they're looking for. Mainly, how you want to give them the information. That is essentially what these structures are. Giving your readers the information in a specific way. Some books are going to call for the sequential format. Some are going to want the problem solution, where some, it makes more sense to have everything laid out in a numerical format. Some use multiple. So I'm going to show you a couple different examples from real-world books and walk through each of these in detail. And based on your research and what we're going to see in this video, as well as the following lesson, you're going to pick the one that's going to be best suited for your book. And I'll show you how to do that. So first off is the sequential format or framework. Sequential framework arranges information according to a step-by-step sequence. This framework is most effective for books that are written to describe a step-by-step process. This is the one that's most popular for most self-publishers. It's simple and it's to the point. For example, we have step 1, chapter 1, first part of the process, chapter 2, second part of the process, chapter 3, third part of the process. Straightforward. Then the second step to the book, chapter 4, first part of the next step, chapter 5, chapter 6, and so on. You can see here, this is a table of contents from one book that is using the sequential framework. Numerical framework organizes the information by using, or by listing rather, a specific number, keys, or rules to support the author's point. Then uses smaller chunks of content to support the key or the rule, right? So if we take a look, it's like number 1, and then chapter 1, introductory to the point. Chapter 2 is the supporting content. Chapter 3, it summarizes that point. So that's all part of number 1. Or it might be part 1, as we're going to see in the example. Number 2, part 2, chapter 4, introduction, next point. Then we got chapter 5, supporting content. Chapter 6, summary to that point. So you can see here how it's laid out, right? Part 1, paradigms and principles, and then part 2, private victory. Part 3, public victory. Part 4, renewal. And there's chapters in between there. So that's an example of a numerical framework. Problem solution framework. So a problem and solution framework organizes information so readers are able to clearly identify a problem, understand the solution you have to offer. This framework is often used in combination with the numerical framework. So this is an example from my friend's book, The Miracle Morning. So main problem, chapter 1, introduce to the problem. Chapter 2, how the problem came to be. Number 3, impact of the problem to the reader. This is also very, very commonly used when you're writing your book in terms of a story, not necessarily a fiction book. It's a nonfiction book, but you're writing it as a story. It's something that you've gone through, or something the main character, your pen name, has gone through. So the main solution then, right? We're going to introduce them to the solution now. Chapter 4, introduce solution. 5, supporting content. 6, 7, 8, and so on. And you can see that example here in the table of contents of The Miracle Morning. Now, what does your outline include? So it includes your instructions to the right introduction with 8 key points covered, your body, chapters, conclusion, and bibliography. Additional things are going to be added to the book, but this is after you get it back from the writing company. So this is essentially what we want the writing company to take care of. I'm going to show you exactly how we're going to do this. So the foundations of your book is the introduction. Now, introduction is one of the most important parts because this either keeps the reader reading your book or they will close it before they even really begin. I want you to think about your introduction as like the opening scene to a big blockbuster movie. Think about a James Bond movie, right? Pre-credits, right? They always have that big scene where, he's running on top of buildings, or, we think of Skyfall, right? And they have the fight on top of the train and he gets shot. There's always that big scene that you're like, oh my God, this is going to be insane, right? That is your introduction. That is the type of thing you want to completely grab your customers, grab your readers' attention. Sets a tone and invokes curiosity. Trains what you want your reader to experience and get out of your book. It sells the book via the KDP Look Inside feature. Remember that when your book's on Amazon, customers can actually click on the book and they can look at it via the Look Inside feature. And they can read your introduction. That's a very good thing. You can actually increase the amount of the percentage that Amazon lets people read. If you just email KDP, you can increase it up to 30-something%. So they can read the book before even buying it, which is totally fine. Because if you can captivate them before they've even bought it, they're going to have to buy it to find out the rest, right? The first 1,000 words, it sets the foundation of your book. This tells the reader to keep going, or it sends them to Amazon to write a bad review for the book they hated from the start. And remember that there's that famous quote, there's no second chance to make a first impression. So your introduction, there's 8 pillars to a powerful introduction. So number 1, identify the problem you're solving. Number 2, present the solution. Number 3, reassess your credibility. 4, show them the benefits again. Number 5, give them proof of it working. Number 6, make them the promise. Number 7, warn them against waiting. And number 8, prompt them to read your call to action. This is what you want to base your introduction about. Now, identify the problem you're solving. State the problem that you want to solve clearly and concisely so your readers understand exactly what to expect solved for them when they finish the book. This is one of the reasons books get bad reviews. Misconception of what they're going to be getting. So if you tell your customers that, or your reader, hey, so I'm going to show you how to sleep train your baby, and they end up getting something else from the book, but not learning how to sleep train your baby, bad review. So you have to make sure that you've set the tone from the beginning, from the introduction. So here's an example for you. As exciting as a new baby is, being sleep-deprived doesn't help anybody. Most parents run into this problem and can't seem to get a good night's sleep. Good news is there are solutions. Of course, you want your baby to get the best sleep possible, but how? These are the best sleep training methods that have worked for parents all over the world. Or new parents are struggling to find ways to get their newborn to stay asleep. These methods will show you what you've been missing. Next is present the solution. Tell them what the solution is and give them direct phrases so they fully know you are going to help them with it, right? No beating around the bush here. The sleep training methods I'm about to show you will not only transform how you look at sleep training, but will ensure your baby is getting the best possible sleep they can. I'm crystal clear on exactly what the customer is going to be getting from this book. Reassert your credibility. Now, building up your own credibility, your backstory, and remember, if this is not you personally writing, that's completely okay. It's the backstory of your pen name, of your author name, and giving your readers a reason to trust and listen to you, right? As a mother of 4, I couldn't go through another night fighting with my baby to go to sleep, and then waking up at all times of the night and doing this night after night. After my first child, I vowed to find a better way to do this, and that's exactly what I've done. My name is Diana Turner, and in this book, I'm going to show you the best sleep training methods that have worked for me and moms all over the world. Show them the benefits again. Tell your readers what they're going to get from reading your book, what knowledge or skills that they're going to gain, and how it will improve their life. So sleep is one of those things you don't know how important it is until it's gone. Knowing this, I was able to help my baby get a good night's sleep so they were well rested and healthier was just as satisfying as getting a good night's sleep myself. Give them proof, show them actual stories of people getting the results they want. The more relatable the results, the more emotionally attached to the process they'll become. And having your readers emotionally attached to the process to your book is one of the most important things you can be doing. So at first, this just started because I wanted more sleep for myself and a better sleep for my kids. Then my friends started asking me how I was able to get this done. Before long, they were telling me how much they love my methods and how easy it actually was. They started telling their friends about it, and it grew like a wildfire. So I decided it's best if I wrote a book, share it with moms all over the world. Then make a huge promise. Your readers want to be reassured that if they read your book, they will get blank results in return. Promise this to them and make sure that you can deliver. So by the end of this book, you will understand exactly what methods to try so you and your baby can get a good night's sleep. Then ignite the fire. They need to take action now. So we need to light the fire under their ass so they get moving and take action to read and finish your book. Otherwise, they might regret this. So what I've learned is that the sooner I took action, the easier it became to get my baby's sleeping pattern down. I know some parents wanted to wait until quote unquote the right time, but I promise you now is the best time to start sleep training. Then jumpstart your call to action. The worst thing they can do right now is put the book down. So tell them you got some secret tips, whatever, in the first little bit of your book to get them to read chapter 1. Overall, the main purpose of your introduction is to get them to read chapter 1. Chapter 1, you want them to read chapter 2 to chapter 3. That is the point of every single part of your book. Sleep training tips you're about to read are proven to help you regain your sleep and help your baby get a healthy night's sleep as well. These have worked with countless children of all ages. Now it's time for them to work with yours. So dive in and let's get started right now. So how are you going to structure your chapters? Most publishers will use a sequential framework for their books. So chapter 1 title, key point, key point, key point, key point. Chapter 2 title, key point, key point, key point, key point. A 30,000 word book will have 7 to 10 chapters with 4 or 5 key points in each, totaling in length roughly 2,000 to 4,000 words per chapter. Now, the chapters will have their own main thesis that connects to the following chapter to ensure the book flows smoothly and is easy to read. Based on your customer research, you will create 10 chapters and the key points in each one to support the topic of your book, right? So that is what we're going to be doing with all of our research. Now, naming your chapter titles is super important because chapter titles are not just to tell your reader what the chapter is about, but they're designed to sell the reader on why they need to read this chapter, right? Sleep training basics. Nice and boring. You know what it's about, right? It's going to be about sleep training basics. Or, right, using copywriting skills that we've been developing, the 7 things most parents don't understand about sleep training. Which chapter sounds more enticing to you, right? But another reason this is so key is this is going to become your table of contents, which is going to show up in the look inside feature of your book on Amazon, but also when you put it in your description. And if I'm reading Sleep Training Basics as a potential buyer, as one of the chapters, I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Or I'm reading, oh man, the 7 things most parents don't understand about sleep training. I wonder what those are. One sells the book. The other is just, Now, your key points in your chapter are the talking points for each chapter. They make up your chapters, and your chapters make up your book. By outlining your book this way, you ensure that your reader is going to get the best information possible that helps them solve the problem they have. This is a lot of work, but we want this book to make a lot of money. So the more time we put into researching our customers, crafting our outline, the better our book's going to be. The better the book is, the better it'll solve your customers' problems. The more sales you're going to make, the more money you're going to generate. So chapter 1, right? This is building a connection with your reader. You want them to believe it's possible to get the results that you promised, so they will go into your book ready to learn and grow. Stories, fictional or not, are a great way to pull the reader in during this part. Chapter 2, getting going. The more actionable the content, the easier it is for your reader to implement, right? You don't have to have something for the reader to get going on this point, but these are just suggestions on exactly how you can frame your book. So chapter 3 is an important one. It's your free resource. You want to keep your reader moving towards their solution, but it's also a good time to talk about some challenges or struggles they may be facing at this point, if that's something that relates to the topic of your book. This is also a great time to introduce them to a free tool or template to support them along their journey. So one of the things we're going to be talking about in the next week's lesson is setting up your email list. But a great thing is to offer them something inside the book that they need to continue to get the most from the book. Chapter 3 is where we want to implement that. So chapter 4 to 9 is kind of the meat and potatoes. Your reader is well into the process now, should have a few small wins under the belt. Continue to push them along so they can become fully immersed in what they're learning. And then chapter 10, the next step. This chapter is all about providing clear steps for your reader to pursue next. So it could be a 30-day challenge, to join a support group on Facebook, 7-day checklist, whatever works best for your niche. Remember, these are just ideas of how you can lay out every single chapter in your book. You don't have to follow this exactly. It's just designed to get you thinking about the type of layout you want to have for your book. Also a great time to suggest the next book in your series that will further help them. That is gold, to promote the next book that you're going to have for them. And then your conclusion. So in 500 words or less, it should summarize the book, making it memorable and recommendable, address any open-ended issues, and ensure the reader feels like their problems have been addressed completely. Have a call to action, and of course, point to additional resources you have for them. Now, not all books are going to have a bibliography. Some do, based on yours, but this is where you're going to list information that you use in your research and whatnot. So it's not necessary, but you're going to see in the example of how to do this. So a couple final thoughts. This is going to take a solid day or so, maybe a few days, with the right amount of research. The content research video that you'll see in the description of this lesson is going to help a ton. The more you know and understand your customer, the better outline you will produce. The better your outline, the better your book will be. And the better your book will be, the more money you're going to make. So go ahead, take a look at the description of this video so we can go into the content research video.